All right, let's do this. Grip angle. Why does it matter? So when you're holding a pistol, there's some, like 1911s, that the grip angle is a little bit more up and down, and you've got the Glocks, a little bit more swept back. Is it just a preference, or is there something to it? Let's take a look at that. So when you're shooting a handgun, there's going to be recoil. Recoil goes both straight back and it tilts the gun up. So we call this muzzle flip, when it tips the gun up. Just as an example, so recoil, it comes back, right? But it also flips the gun up. And grip angle actually helps control the tip up, the muzzle flip, and our perception of that recoil, the coming back. How does it do that? Well, let's just use this as an example. So if we have a handgun that is the grip is perfectly up and down, right? And we hold it, you can see how my wrist right here and my hand is going up at a pretty steep angle. I don't know exactly what you would call that. There's probably a way to figure it out with this device right here, this square. I'm not gonna do that, but you can just take a look and see. Now, what happens if I've got a more swept back grip on my gun? You can see how this flattens out. So our fulcrum, and we know fulcrums from elementary physics, is the pivot point, right? So when the grip is up and down, the fulcrum is higher up on our wrist and maybe up into the outside, or on our hand rather. So if we sweep it back, now the fulcrum is actually coming down. And what's going to end up happening with the firearm is it's actually going to come back. The force is primarily going to come through our bones, and that's going to make it much more controllable, and it's going to keep that tip from flipping, which means you can stay on target easier, and you're going to have less perceived recoil because there's going to be less of that muzzle flip. And I'll just use two quick examples to show you. So we've got the Ruger LCP Max here, and take a look at that grip. It's pretty straight up and down, about as straight up and down as I have personally, and probably pretty close to a 1911 or something of that nature. So when I hold it, I just want you to take a look. By the way, everything's been safety checked. I don't want to be a YouTube celebrity for the wrong reasons. You can see how steep this angle is right here. Now I've got this gun level, I'm looking right down the sights, pretty steep, right? So when this thing recoils, it's going to tilt quite a bit. Now, there's Glocks, they're more swept back, but ultimately you can see how swept back this Ruger Mark IV is. Super swept back. Now take a look at what happens to my wrist and my hand. Look how level that is. So when the recoil comes back, it's actually going to come back through my arm, and it's going to propel me more like this and less like this. So that is why grip angle matters. Is some of it comfort? Yes. Is some of it preference? Absolutely. But it's going to matter when it comes to performance. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a like, thumbs up, and if you have any questions about anything I talked about, or some pointers, because I certainly don't know everything, please leave a comment, and I will plan on seeing you next time. Thank you so much.